What's up, roadies, and welcome back to the road trip. Sorry, y'all. This is literally my third try at starting because I'm excited and irritated and all of the things. I don't even know, okay? But I want to start by saying, hello, fam. Y'all are out there in the desert, and I miss y'all so much. And I know y'all are over there lounging at the villa. Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. Oh my goodness. I know y'all are hitting y'all a nice little lazy river moment. I know that y'all are eating good. I'm sure y'all have are preparing at least family dinner because today is day zero of Coachella weekend two, Coachella 2025, y'all. Oh, my heart is so heavy, but also so full because I know that y'all are just enjoying yourselves right now. Oh, I miss y'all so much. I know, y'all, I'm the only one out of my friend group that really be taking videos and stuff. So I know that they not really gonna have no material for me. But if y'all think of me, please just do a little toast for me. Something, y'all. I miss y'all so much. Oh my goodness. Also, shout out to my weekend to Q Plus fam. All of my new campers out there. I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. Y'all are in great hands this weekend. Oh my goodness. I'm so jealous. I miss y'all so much to my alumni Q Plus folk. Yeah, oh my goodness, it's weekend fucking two, y'all. Yeah, I just want to send all the love. Weekend two is my weekend. Weekend two is everything. I have gone to weekend one, two, two times? Two times or three times? I want to say it's two times. And I am just, I'm not a weekend one girly. I'm not a weekend one girly. And I'm curious because this kind of segues into my irritation currently. Now, as y'all know, obviously, there's chapters, so you can skip through this rant that I'm about to go on about how y'all be complaining about Coachella and how it's for the rich and how it's too high and it's too much walking and it's this and it's that and it's all that bug that y'all keep speaking about. Oh, I'm gonna touch on that right here. But I do want to let y'all know if you don't want to hear that rant, you can go ahead and skip to me talking about the different sets from weekend one, the different artists, all the performances, and how I felt about who and what, and who you should go see for weekend two. All that stuff you can skip because, again, all of my videos have chapters. So I know sometimes I can go and be a little long-winded and get off into tangents and stuff like that. So there's some chapters so you can cheat and just skip ahead, right? But if you want to hear the bullshit, if you are traveling to the desert at this moment and you need something to listen to that's within the Coachella vibes and Coachella spirits, and that's gonna boost your time there and give you a little more comfort, but also like kind of know if you just want to hear some shit about Coachella, baby, just ride the wave. All right. But yeah, so I never watch or look at any type of content. I don't get on social media at all. Starting day zero, Thursday of weekend one, and I don't get back onto the internet until the Monday following weekend two. So weekend two obviously ends on the Sunday, and then I don't get on the internet until that Monday. I don't want to like I say, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see any spoilers. I want everything to be fresh, everything to be new, everything to be just that, right? And so I don't look at anything. This year being a year that I'm not there, I am just seeing so much like negative talk about Coachella and all these things, and it's pissing me off. It's really pissing me off. And it's so much so that it's on the news. Is Coachella on the news like this? Like always? And specifically the camping situation, which I can understand the frustration with that. Again, she's not a campy. She's not a camper. Okay. I well, pause. I am a Q plus camper, but I am not a camper. I don't like to camp. I don't camp. It is not my thing. I was invited and I was able to go this year with Q plus, but I have to. I would really have to prepare for a long time to camp again. And I need a lot of accommodations for myself in order for me to camp. So I would rather pay for a ticket and all of the stuff than to camp because it's just brutal for me. So, my hat's off to all of the campers out there that can do it. But I guess my also like confusion is that like y'all didn't know Coachella's been going on for how long? I've been talking about this for how long? Many people have been talking about this for how long? It's always hot. There's always a line at the showers. Like it's always these things. So I guess the people that are going are new and they did not do the proper preparation and research. I guess I don't know. I don't know, but whatever. But I will say the long lines where y'all were waiting for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, that to my knowledge is fairly new because last year when I camped, even though we showed up to the grounds late being like I want to say like 1, 2, 3 o'clock ish, we still got onto our actual ground like through security and everything in at least like 3 hours or so. Right, there were people from what I heard that were in line since 2 in the morning, and they didn't get into the festival to their specific lot and everything through security until like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. 12 hours. Baby, hell no. I would be pissed off too. So that aspect of it is one thing. But like just the complaining of overall, there's this big, big conversation happening about Coachella being for the rich only. Babes. Babes, I'm far from rich. And especially when I was living in LA, babes, I was not rich at all. At all, babes. It's called planning, proper planning. And what I'll say with that too is, and I think I'm gonna make a video. I think I'm gonna do a lot of research, heavy research, on what it's like at Disneyland, Disney World, finances, how much it costs to eat, how big is the place, what is that square footage like, what does it look like to travel around all the right and do all the things, and what is the travel to get there, what is the stay cost, all of those things, and maybe for a small family, mom, dad, two kids type shit, right? And see what the price range for that would be, and maybe even just one person, like how much does it cost for one person in comparison to Coachella, right? Because I'm hearing, I saw this one YouTuber, and I don't like to really, I'd rather just not talk about a person than for me to berate them and belittle them and talk about them like that. So I'm not going to say this person's name. If I'm being honest, I don't even remember it. I don't even remember their channel. But like they are from the UK, and they were just bashing Coachella, talking about it being hot and in the desert, and it's not worth it, and it's too expensive, and it's this, and it's that, and it's all these things, all these things. And I'm like, babe, like, what kind of trips do you go on? Do you ever go on any kind of trips? We're talking about expenses. Yeah, it things cost. Things have always cost. Don't get me wrong. And here in the U.S. of A, you know, inflation and things are just the economy is crazy right now for sure. But I'm just saying like things have always cost, and like you just have to do the proper planning. There's payment plans for a reason. Like it is doable. It's absolutely doable. I'm going on a rant, and that's not even why I'm here today, but partly is. So yeah, I think the complaints about Coachella, that it's only for the rich and it's only for baby, no. And what I'll also say is back to my first point, I'm a weekend tour. The vibes are different. And I think what's interesting is a lot of people do go for the hype and the glitz and the glam and all of that stuff. That's always been a weekend one thing. That has always been a weekend one thing. Weekend two is a lot more chill. It's a lot more friendly and a lot more. I don't want to even say that weekend one isn't like that, right? I just think that weekend two is for a lot more the veterans. Weekend two is a lot more for the people who are truly there for the music. And like again, I'm not saying that that's all of weekend one, but weekend one gets a lot more hype than weekend two. There we go. Weekend one gets a lot more hype because it is the first weekend. This is the weekend that the Revolve Fest, the influencers, and all of that stuff is like big because this is when Coachella's, which makes sense from a marketing standpoint, right? Like this is Coachella is now introducing itself for the year. Boom, we're gonna do everything when it first happens. We don't want to wait till the second weekend. We're gonna capitalize when it's hot and it's the thing that's being talked about. All of that is gonna happen weekend one. So of course, all of the influencers, all of the celebrities, all of those people are gonna be there for weekend one to continue to promote brands and things like that. It makes sense. But weekend two is like, okay, we're just coming to now have fun. We're not working this time. A lot of influencers who really do enjoy Coachella will go back the second weekend to really experience the festival. Okay. I also think what's ruining Coachella, and one thing that I will agree with when I hear these talks about Coachella and what is missing, the soul and like kind of that thing that Coachella, I feel like why I call it my adult Disneyland, right? I just feel like that soul has, and I've mentioned that before, is that the soul is slowly being a little drained from it. But I do want to say that the soul tends to be more in weekend too. Yeah, and I don't know what it is that Coachella has to do differently, and I can't really critique that this year because I wasn't there this year, right? But I don't know what that is, what that looks like, and maybe I'm gonna start. There's some things that I have in mind that I just want to do for fun. That because I've stopped drinking and other things this year just to really focus in on me, taking care of me, and really getting back to a good place. So I feel like a new hobby I might try to introduce is like, I don't know. I said it here a little bit, and we'll see what what unfolds with that later on. But yeah, I just feel like I can kind of understand that, the soul being taken away from Coachella. However, I just think that you have to look at the two weekends a little differently, and what you're seeing in weekend one is going to be a little bit different than weekend two. But other than that, like just all these comments about the whole rich thing, and like that's what Coachella's only. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, I'm over it. I'm going to get off of my soapbox. I'm going to leave that alone. Let's go ahead and jump into the meat of this podcast, which is going to be talking about the performances of weekend one for Coachella 2025, and how you should prepare for this weekend, weekend two, Coachella 2025. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the best of weekend one. First and foremost, it's been a real struggle for me as far as who to rank as number one. But I am going to go ahead and give it to my girl, Missy Elliott. Okay, Missy, by far my favorite performance of weekend one, and it was very much more cultural for me, like just black culture, me growing up, like from a wee lad, right? To now, like who really influenced me, and that was Missy. Missy really, that is the type of rap hip hop that I love. And I think that that's why I also take the rap and hip hop stuff in a different direction. That's why I like Drake, right? That's why I love a Nicki. That's why, well, I love Drake. That's why I love Nicki's. That's why I love artists that, like rap artists that it. I don't always care about a message, and that's not to say that Missy ain't never had no messages, baby. Let's get with it, okay? But what I'm saying is, I like fun hip hop. I like, stuff that's making me dance and move and stuff like that. So I'm not too like wed to it always having to be like, let me teach you something, even though I do love that, right? And so Missy just took me through a blast of like, yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of the Ludas back in the day, the Nellies, right? That was my type of rap. Period. So Missy just did her thing, baby. When she came out, throw it back. Hey, and she came out in hey, in the Transformer. I will be watching Missy Elliott. Damn, I'm dropping shit. Yeah, I will be watching Missy Elliott perform again next week. I'm mad because I thought I could watch the full performance from Coachella, that version of it. But what I will say about Missy that I noticed and that I love, and that I was just watching Zach Campbell talk about Gaga's performance. Shout out to Zachary Campbell. And I feel like, yes, Beyonce absolutely changed the game, specifically with Coachella, or just music festivals in general, how they are filmed. And that is a little bit of a qualm for me, a little bit of a problem, because the thing is with Beyonce, she knows how to play to both. Right, the crowd and the camera. I don't think a lot of artists know how to do that. And so, like with Doja, when I watched her last year, I was front row at the gate, and the problem is that she was performing more for the camera, and so it felt like disconnected a little bit as a person sitting in the crowd. Don't get me wrong, she was definitely engaging with the crowd, but it just felt like the performance looked better on film, or on the screens, than it did in my eyes. And I felt like that was because it was all played towards the camera. Yeah, I think Missy Elliott did an amazing job at performing for the crowd and allowing the camera to accent moments. You know what I mean? Like she obviously did things that were structured for the camera, but her performance seemed to be out. it was, I don't know. I don't know how to really explain that too well. But if you get it, you get it, right? Missy Elliott, oh, Missy Elliott killed it. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. Missy did her thing. Go see Missy Elliott. Go, 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 go. And if I'm being honest, the way that my shit's looking, I would probably go see Missy Elliott and just like I might camp for Missy Elliott to get the right spot to see her. Missy did her thing, and that would also set me up for my number two person. But baby, don't get it twisted, okay? The number two is simply because even though this person was still a part of me growing up, it just wasn't as long as Missy. But baby, Gaga Geezy, okay? Gaga Gaga gave, even though I believe Missy Elliott's performance is one of the best Coachella performances of all time, right? Gaga gave just a more historic. It was just the whole story of it all. It was a true performance, a true story. I'm getting chills right now because the image that comes to my mind is when she walked up to the top of like a balcony that she had made, and like the dancers, the women, they're sitting in that sandbox. I want to say that's what they were in when she had did what's my song, Celebrity. Perfect Celebrity, baby. And they're reaching up to her, and she's up there, and she was like, y'all, I brought an opera house to the desert. And the way it looks cinematically, Gaga is also did the same thing like Missy. It was a performance. She was playing to the people out there, but the camera just accented moments. Shout out to Gaga giving me Vanish Into You in the way that she did, going into the crowd, first singing on the piano, then going into the crowd. Baby, now, one thing I'll say is it was a vocals. No, I don't know. Vanish into You, no, not really. Vanish into You to me sounded pristine, but there were moments where Gaga's vocals were a little pitchy at times. But for all that she's doing, baby, please. And something tells me again with Weekend Two, baby, she's gonna get this. She's gonna take the notes, and she's going to make sure that things are. I think we can. This performance Weekend Two, and I think we might get a Bruno performance, but Zach made a good point. This show does not need any cameos. The show doesn't need any cameos. It is perfect all its own. I will agree, and I had already thought about it before I saw Zach say this because another person had made a thread about it. But can we take the skeletons out of Zombie Boy? Because y'all, I love Zombie Boy. Zombie Boy is one of my favorite Gaga songs. Honestly, now it's coming up of all times. I love me some Zombie Boy. But I think that part was a little goofy. But Zach did make a point. It was campy for sure. But I don't know. I feel like Zombie Boy could have had the male dancers as zombies and maybe like sexy zombies or something like that. And a dance moment and stuff like that. I think it was cute. It was campy, but I could do without the skeletons, but it is what it is. I just love Zombie Boy so much that I feel like it deserved a bigger moment. When I look at Perfect Celebrity, also, I think it was cool. I liked what she did with it, and it was different than what I would have expected out of that song. So I love that. Like that one, I can live with, even though it may not be what I exactly wanted or would have imagined. Still loved it. But like Zombie Boy, I feel like we could do that a little different. So but either way, aside from these little bitty notes that I'm nitpicking about, Gaga absolutely has one of the best Coachella performances of all time. 1,000,000%. She did her thing. Gaga, 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 Geezy. Go see her, and definitely go see her over Mustard. Personally, I'm just gonna say that now, but we'll get into that in a second. Third, I have Miss Charlie. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for Missy and Lady Gaga, Charlie would be number one. Charlie, I rewatched her performance. I was in my living room lit. I was lit, y'all, turned up, and lit off of energy. Charlie, Charlie killed it. Charlie. And she didn't have what they say up there. Charlie didn't have nothing. They said she didn't have nothing but that Snow White and a dream, baby. And she made it happen. And I that. I love it, baby. Yeah, I love it. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, baby. Charlie was up there doing her thing. Charlie was, I wanna with D, I wanna AG, I wanna with I wanna. Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX, y'all. She had Troy Sivan come up there. She had Billie Eilish go up there. She had Laura go up there. Baby, the way I was ready to buy a ticket to see her in Austin, and I had to really stop myself and be like, no, 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 no. Really, if I'm being completely honest, Missy, Gaga, and Charlie are like, and Kind Music, I'll say, are the main. I want to drive to Coachella so bad, but I'm just like, it's no, don't do that, don't do that. But like, they really have me in a chokehold. They really have me in a chokehold. Charlie did her thing. I don't care what nobody say. I loved the screens. I loved how it was. Definitely gave Rosalia when it comes to performance in the aspect of how it was filmed and done. And again, Charlie had that moment, like a moment where it wasn't just for the camera. Like she had the entire grounds that was there at the main stage lit up. The crowd engagement. Also, can I just say for Missy Elliott, I'm gonna need y'all to give a lot more crowd engagement weekend two, which is noted. It usually happens anyway, but like give Missy her flowers while she's on that stage. I'm sick about it. I'm sick. I'm not able to see it. If I could literally fly just to see these few performances, I would just to see it and leave, right? And I could pay just a X amount of dollars. Boom, boom, right? I would. Charlie XCX, baby, up there with the white and a dream. Okay? Up there with a white and a dream, babes. BC powder. Okay? Charlie had her BC powder to get her prepared. Her BC. And she went to do what needed to be done. Okay? She had her electrolytes. And she went and did what needed to be done. Charlie did her thing. Charlie, 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 Charlie. I will be watching Charlie again. Okay? Next up, I have at number four, Kind Music. Kind Music was a vibe. Kind Music was everything. Kind Music was a time. I absolutely would have seen Kind Music over Travis Scott once I saw that jet. Once I saw that jet. I couldn't even get through. Never mind. We'll get to that. Kind Music, Kind Music, Kind Music. Okay. Disco Lines definitely gave Cunt Kitty Bangers. Freaky Disco Cunt Kitty Bangers. Disco Lines did what needed to be done. I was listening to Disco Lines at work while they were performing, or while he was performing, excuse me, and had him in my ears, and baby, it was a time, okay? Next up, 3 6 Mafia. 3 6 Mafia, baby, I was in the break room, turned up. Everybody's like, what in the hell? Baby, 3 6 Mafia, I'm gonna need y'all to be turned up at the Sahara. The crowd needs to be lit for that too. But weekend two, I have faith that y'all are gonna do what needs to be done. 3 6 Mafia, they brought out Wiz Khalifa, they brought out MGK, love, love, love. I wish we would have had that Taraji Terrence Howard moment could happen. I really feel like, if I'm being honest, weekend two is about to get a lot of surprises. Cause y'all know, if you know, you know, my Coachella vets out there, if you know, you know, weekend two used to be the weekend that had more of the guest appearances. Weekend two used to be the weekend that you go to when you really want to see those things, right? When you really want to see the surprise guest for real, for real. Weekend two is the weekend. So yeah, absolutely expecting that to happen. I actually not necessarily the Taraji and Terrence Howard moment, but I'm just saying, like, in general, I think y'all are gonna get some amazing surprises, because I think weekend one actually didn't get as many as I had expected, and especially the big ones that I had expected. So let's move on with Gustavo Dudmel and LA Philharmonic, right? Uh, they brought out Catrell y Paco Amoroso. I want to say they had Becky G out there. Oh my goodness, I'm missing so many. LL Cool J. I'm missing. There's a specific woman. Laufey. I want to say Laufey was out there. There was just a lot of names that came out. Yeah, I was right about them. All of these people I also had on my list. So shout out to me. Shout out to me. Shout out to me. Gustavo, LA Phil, y'all did y'all's thing, from what I hear, but I also missed them. I didn't see them, but I heard about it, and good things. So I will say I did not see them, but I heard. The Marias, baby, down. Did they thing. The lead singer, she does what needs to be done. I love her voice, so airy, so just elegant, and just a vibe. It looked great. Yeah, absolutely a time. I watched them as well. Catrell y Paco Amoroso. Also, really cool. They didn't make it as extravagant as I had thought and hoped, which isn't a problem. I think that I just kind of my expectations weren't met in that regard, so I was a little like, But as I watched it again, I was like, oh, this is the time though. And the crowd, shout out to that crowd. The crowd was giving them what they needed. That shout out to the crowd of Catrell y Paco Amoroso. Shout out to the crowd. Next up, I have Salute. Salute. Baby, I listened to Salute set while I was just getting ready for the day on Sunday. Salute, 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 salute. Dun, 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 saving all my flowers. Yeah, that was the time. Okay. Salute, 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 salute. And the crowd for salute also. Great job to y'all. And then lastly, I have, funny enough, Benson Boone. It's almost like my Lana Del Rey moment of 2024 at Coachella. I turned on the live stream, went on over to see what Benson had going on, and literally at that moment, he had got up on the piano, did a flip, and then all of a sudden, Brian May came up from Queen and had a whole moment. Like that was really really dope. I will say that that whole moment, he was just doing a Queen tribute, and I thought that that was great. I guess technically, well, it's still Queen, but Bohemian Rhapsody moment, right? But like I thought it was cool. I thought it was really dope and a legendary moment for Brian May to come out and do the thing. Apparently the crowd didn't understand what was going on, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have known who he was because I like Queen absolutely, but like I'm not a Queen fan. No, definitely not a stan. So for me to know everybody, unless Freddie Mercury ain't popping out the fucking stage, baby, I don't really know everybody up there. I'll be real, But I thought that the guitar moment would have had me lit because I'd have been like, damn, that motherfucker is playing. He's playing up there. I don't know who he is, but he's playing. And somebody would have been like, oh my God, that's Brian May. Who's that? He's from, Queen. Da, da, da. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Love that. Even more, right? So that's just that. But I will give Benson Boone his tens that he did have a moment there. It's still just, I don't know, something about him just doesn't do it for me. But I shout out to Benson Boone. He made the list, period. All right, y'all. Moving on to my missed performances, the people that I didn't get to see. Didn't get to see High Tech because I was in the middle of closing my night out at work. I only got to hear them a little bit, but I was going back and forth, so I didn't really get to see them. And I feel like I'd have to see, but camera wise, especially in the Sonora, it was just focused on them more so. I think maybe they would when I was watching. And so it just didn't give me all of the energy that I needed because I needed to see the crowd and they weren't as hype as they were at the Boiler Room when I was watching. Again, Pinky Star was up there. They were turned up, but the energy at the Boiler Room in Austin when they were there was so up and electric that like it just it also you have to think the crowd energy is also going to feed the performer as well. So I think that that might have been a thing in the again. I didn't see them enough to be able to critique, but I will be watching High Tech this weekend. Gustavo, I missed, but I will be watching their set. The Prodigy, another moment where I only got to see for a little bit because they weren't at the same time at about as High Tech, so I didn't get to really see their performances, just bits and pieces. And it looked cool, but I need to see. Malp, I need to watch. Sammy Vergi, I need to watch. Alesso's Body High, I will watch because he performs for weekend two, not weekend one. Rema, I didn't get to see. Horse Girl, I didn't get to see. Glass Beams, Tink, Tyler, Eli Brown, and Lisa. Y'all know Lisa wasn't on my must sees or anything, but I will say Lisa's set looked way more entertaining than her counterpart, and we'll move on with that. I'll talk about it in a second because we are about to move on to the S of the weekend. The S of weekend one. Jenny. Before I was like, who wanna rock with Jenny? And now I'm like, Jenny, when do you wanna wake up? Who wanna wake Jenny up? That's what it is. Who wanna wake Jenny up? That's what it is. Because Jenny looked sleepy up there. Jenny looked sleepy and she looked like she didn't know what she was doing. She looked tired. It looked terrible. And I was mad. I was very mad because I was really rooting for Jenny. But apparently she has a past of this, just being kind of the lazy one. And lazy it was. So I'm not even going to hold my comments on that. It looked lazy. But I'm hoping maybe Maybe it's all about a part of a bigger scheme. And Jenny's like, you know what? I'm gonna act lazy this time, and next week I'm really gonna give it. So I'm hoping I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again, which I have a try again section in this podcast video. But yeah, I'm gonna try again. But Jenny, get it the together, girl, because that looked terrible. Next up, we have Ty Dolla Sign. What the hell was that? What was that? Ty Dolla Sign? I don't know what the hell that was, but baby, that was not good. Uh, that wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Now I did hear he brought out Leon Thomas. I did miss that, but I turned it off because I was just like, babe, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. So Ty Dolla Sign, you get a that was not good. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's going on, but that fix it, please. Next up at number three, we have Travis Scott. Travis Scott, you said all that stuff and you got me so excited, and you spent all that money for what? It looked cool. It looked cool. It looked great, actually. It looked great. But something about it just wasn't translating. It wasn't translating to a fun time. And actually, I think his solo stuff looks way more fun than his Coachella headlining performance. I have to say. And when I heard designing the desert, I thought the whole desert was going to be designed by Travis Scott. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't like it. Now I will say he had a little back, his own little thing that you could go to and engage in. That had like a mosh pit situation and like this big teddy bear and like this dystopian kind of looking area, which is cool. I thought you were gonna design the whole desert. And I will say the art pieces and the art installations, they weren't giving it to me this year. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Coachella, what I'm gonna need y'all to do is pause on investing in the festival as far as like new attractions. Right, the Mirage, the Red Bull Mirage that's across from Quasar. We've already got the Quasar set, right? We don't need to pay any more money for that. I hope we've got that paid off. Sahara, we don't need to pay any more money for that. Y'all don't need to restructure anything. How about we just get to the soul and the spirit of Coachella? Let's make sure the spirit is back. I know y'all been spending a lot of money on the infrastructure. Let's end that. Let's stop. Okay, we've got what we've got, and let's stay where we're at. Okay, let's stay where we're at. You didn't even redesign the do lab, so I, let's stay where we're at. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. But Travis Scott, yeah, no, I'm good off that. T Pain. Now here's my thing with T Pain, and I'm gonna try again with T Pain, only because like when I came in, he's not really singing, right? It's definitely a DJ set type thing. We're just listening to it. He's breathy. He's hitting some moves, so it was funny. It was definitely humorous and entertaining in that regard, and like he was playing the hits for sure. But I would have left to go see Disco Lines very quickly. I would have been like, oh, okay. And I thought T Pain could actually sing like on his own, so I was a little disappointed in that. It just wasn't giving for me. It wasn't doing what needed to be done, but a nice nostalgic moment. And if you're okay with just listening to the hits, and him being up there looking a little goofy, then yeah. But if you have other people you want to see, I would probably recommend go see them. But like maybe something could change. And like he said, he's waited 20 years to get to this point. Congratulations. So I don't want to knock that. I don't want to knock that, and I don't want to sit here and bash him. It just wasn't doing it for me. So I'm gonna leave that point alone. Next up, we got Money Long. I was rooting for you, girl. We were all rooting for you, girl. And then it started, and I was just like, oh my God, what is this? And I turned it quickly. She brought out Leon Thomas as well. Mad I missed him, but like, girl, you were not holding my attention at all. It was not good. And Leon Thomas was damn near the Ty Dolla Sign of weekend one Coachella 2025, babes, because he went from there to Ty Dolla Sign. But yeah, Money Long did not do a good job. I did not like that from at least how it started. How it ended, I don't know. So I don't want to speak on all of that. But the beginning, terrible. It was terrible, and I had to leave. Next up, we have Mustard. I guess. Maybe this weekend though you might get Kendrick. Maybe because I was just shocked. He did apparently he didn't even play Not Like Us. I left. I didn't even baby I was Gaga. Gaga was my only focus. Gaga, 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 Gaga. I think if you choose Mustard over Gaga at this point, you're crazy. You're silly. And yeah, I mean, but have that moment if that's your thing. No shade to you, but yeah, you can have that moment, babes. Keep it. We don't want it. Yeah, gaga, gaga, gaga. But Mustard, he didn't even play Not Like Us, which I'm shocked. Love that. I mean, hey, I think we need to stop playing Not Like Us. But yeah, I just people are mad about it, but babes, like it is what it is. And I told y'all don't go if you're expecting a certain artist and then be mad that they weren't there. Right? I did believe that Kendrick would have been there, but like I guess that stimulus check has run dry. I think it's run dry. So I don't know. Maybe Kendrick will pop out. Hopefully, for mustard's sake, he pops out. But if not, I don't know. And again, with Kendrick starting his tour on Saturday, I don't think he's gonna be there. But like he could be. He really could be, and that could be a whole moment. But I just don't think he will be. Oh, shout out to Yeet. Shout out to Yeet for doing what did he do? Feel No Ways? What did he do? I think he did Feel No Ways. I can't remember what he did, but he did a Drake song, and I love that. Shout out to Yeet. Okay. Um, Next up we have. Did I land that point on mustard? Yeah. Anyway, next up we have These Sacred Souls. The vocals were a little off for me. The lead singer, which is shocking because I heard him and he sounded great before. So I don't know, it was a little off. It looked like and it sounded like he was like a little off, like beat. Like he wasn't catching it. He was just a millisecond off. It just wasn't giving what needed to be done. So yeah, a little but maybe a try again. So rounding out this, I'm gonna go with my try agains, which is Amaray. She looked like she had a lot of potential, but when I came in, she was just doing like listening to old songs from other artists. You know what I mean? But she did her. I think she did her because she was like, what the biggest song? The Guyanese song is, and it was her song, and I did appreciate the fact that she had the vocoder, whatever makes her voice sound the way it does. I appreciated that. So actually, yes, that's why I had her on my try agains because I'm gonna try again and see what her whole set looks like because I was glad that she did that. So the big chunk that I saw, she was more so like putting people on to like Guyanese artists versus like actually singing her own stuff. So and then by the time she did start, I was going into my chemical peel, and so I didn't get to watch the rest. So there's that. I have T Pain on my try again. Megan Thee Stallion I have on my try again because Megan was giving more performing for the camera. And at one point, I thought, like, is this pre recorded? Because they have been pre recording certain performances. So I was like, maybe this is pre recorded because it just didn't seem, I don't know. It seemed off. But shout out to Megan for having Sierra come out and Queen Latifah. Okay. Huge historic dope moments, absolutely, but something was off about her performance to me. It just didn't seem personal, or I don't know what it was. It just seemed like she was going through the motions. It seemed like that, like, and not that like going through the motions in a lazy way, not like a Jenny, for sure not, but like going through the motions is in, okay, this is what we rehearsed, and not like, okay, I'm live and let me start to feed with the crowd. I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on that because I'm gonna try it again. Next up, Shoreline Mafia. Not really a try again, but I clicked on them randomly and was turned up. They have some cuts that were fun. Yeah, if you're okay with Mexicans saying nigga though, then it's your thing. If you don't like that, don't go there. But like, yeah, they were cool. I'm not gonna front. Whatever I saw in that moment, it was dope. It was fun. So I might try them again. Next up, Shabuzi. Shabuzi had a great set. He sounded cool. For some reason, it wasn't giving, but I love that it was like a show. It was like he was giving a show. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So, and then he had this one guy that was up there kind of narrating and being like the show host. Love that. It was really cool. I just didn't stay. I don't know why. I think I went somewhere else to watch something else. But yeah, definitely Shabuzi. And then lastly, we have Alok. I want to say it's Alok that was at. I don't know how to pronounce this, and he was not on my anything. But I saw something where he was DJing in Sahara. I want to say this is him. I hope I'm right. But he had like I don't want to say if they were dancers, but performers like that were doing these things while he was performing and like making these designs with their bodies and hands and stuff and all these really dope. It looked really cool. So I'm actually gonna check that out this weekend. I'm gonna see what that's all about. So I don't know. Go see him. I hope that's him. If not, figure it out. Go on TikTok or whatever and figure out who I'm actually talking about if that's not him. But I'm pretty sure that was him. But yeah, y'all, that's kind of my what you should do for weekend two. What you should do for weekend two. Hey, what you should do for weekend two. Hey, what you should do for weekend two. that's kind of my thing and what I think y'all should go and try out and see and who maybe you shouldn't and maybe just remixing what I had told y'all from my weekend one schedule, how I would kind of redo things a little bit for weekend two, and it kind of gives me the idea of like maybe I should kind of watch the performances weekend one from now on just so I can really adjust. Shout out to Joe, I want to say shout out to Artemis as well. Who else am I missing that I'm not saying that I saw Joe and Artemis, maybe a try agains. I'm gonna put them in my try agains. But yeah, weekend two, y'all have a good time. Do what weekend two does best, which is be weekend two loving, cultured, having fun, turned up in the crowds, giving the artist energy, right? Being just what the spirit of Coachella is, which is love, positivity, fun, excitement, exploration. Be safe out there in the desert. I want to say it's actually going to be a little cooler this weekend, so happy for y'all. I love you, fam. I hope y'all are all safe. Be it my Q Plus fam or my fam at the villa. Take at least like 10 laps for me in the lazy river. I know y'all are enjoying that. I love y'all so much. Go see Missy. Go see Gaga. Go see Charlie. Go see Kind Music. Yeah, those are my like my musties. Y'all already know. So go. Yeah, I said the disco lines. 3-6, Gustavo, the Marias, Catrell, y Paco Amoroso. Salute. Benson Boone, I guess. Yeah, high tech. Go see him, the Prodigy. Go see these people, Malp, all of them. Alesso, Rema, Horse Girl, Glass Beams. I don't want to say Tink, Tyler, Eli Brown, Lisa. Go see him, Sammy Vergie, Malp. Go see them all. But yeah, that's what I got. I don't know. I miss y'all. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna end this video now because at this point I'm not even saying anything. But yeah, y'all have a good time and fuck the haters. Okay, y'all know what Coachella is. You spent good money, have fun, eat. Again, I'll make a video about all of those things separately. But like, eat some good food, try some good stuff. If people are talking about the pizza and nachos, babe, there's that's how I know y'all have never been to Coachella, and that's how I know some of you are just saying things just to say them. A lot of you did not prepare the way that you should have prepared. There's so much great food in the Indio market. Like, there's so much food just in general, but y'all are critiquing the pizza and nachos, babe. I don't even think I've ever had the pizza and nachos. I didn't come here. I didn't come this far just to come this far and eat pizza and nachos. Shout out Kim K. I didn't come this far just to come this far and eat pizzas and nachos. I'm going to Man Eating Plant. I'm going to Sammy Blues. Sunny Blues. I think it's Sunny Blues. I kept saying Sammy Blues. I think it's Sunny Blues. I'm going to eat good. If I'm going to spend, y'all are spending apparently, $20 on pizza and nachos? Babe, you could spend $20 on some dumplings, on some garlic noodles, on some rice balls, on some good food. Y'all I wonder if Bun B Burgers is there this year. Y'all could be spending money on some good food. The same amount that you're spending, you could. Now, what I will say is I don't get the poke because the poke is a small bowl and just I can't do it. Look at my past Coachella videos, y'all, and I discuss all of that. But anyway. Also, shout out to the girls that I met yesterday at Top Golf who I served. Really trying to convince them to go to Coachella next year, or at some point, planning and doing all the things. They were really sweet. Shout out to you, ladies. Yeah, Anyway. Again, I'm rambling for no reason at this point, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Have fun in the desert this weekend, y'all. Be safe. I will be tuned in for sure. And I love you, Coachella horrors and roadies and my fam, my Q Plus fam, my fam. I love y'all. Be safe this weekend. Have loads of fun. And I will see you, roadies, on the next one. All right, y'all. Love you. Later.